Hey there. Today I'm sharing with you a case study on FairPlay based on a doctor's experience. So sometimes life can be unpredictable and one can be taken aback by unforeseen events with devastating impact on personal and professional life. This happened to a doctor who was a non executive independent director on the board of a reputed company. On a Saturday morning, a policeman came to his house to serve a notice from the local magistrate's court. The court had admitted a trial case against him and the other directors of the company with regard to a criminal complaint filed by the landlord of the office premises of the company. The issue was simple. The landlord was being offered a better rent, wanted the company to either vacate the premises or match the increased rent. The landlord has resorted to a criminal case because he knew that any case filed in the civil courts would take decades to get decided. To get a criminal case admitted, he used corrupt means to register false and fabricated complaint of antisocial behavior by the directors and alleged forgery and non-compliance with municipal rules without he having even met most of the directors. The landlord implicated all the directors as a party to the criminal acts. The doctor, who barely spent few hours in an entire year for attending board meetings, was also named as one of the defendants. The doctor was devastated. He had neither seen nor heard or met the landlord. He consulted some of the best lawyers. He consulted some of the best lawyers who reassured him that there was no serious problem. But he was explained that these criminal cases in lower courts were very common pressure tactics used by unscrupulous people, and that the courts would eventually dismiss the case in 5 to 6 years. However, during the trial period, the consequences were difficult to bear, particularly for straightforward and honest people. The lawyers told him that he would have to attend court hearings regularly when the matter was being heard. Apart from that, he would have some difficulties in getting his passport renewed, and he would not be able to impanel or register with public sector companies for rendering services. There would be many awkward situations where he would have to disclose the fact that there is a criminal case against him. However, the most devastating impact was that he did not get admission in a prestigious club because a criminal case was pending against him. The doctor constantly worried as this was like a cloud over his head. He kept asking God, why was he being penalized for doing nothing? How did the magistrate admit such a case without even hearing him out? He wanted to go and meet the landlord but was legally advised against speaking to or meeting with the landlord. Since the landlord's demands were unreasonable, the other directors were not keen on settling the matter with him. However, he was a firm believer in Gita. This gave him a lot of strength in facing the situation and continuing with his medical practice. Life went on like this for a couple of years. One day, a woman patient was brought to him in an emergency situation relating to a heart problem. Her regular doctor was abroad and she had to be treated for some acute chest pain. He examined her and studied the case papers. The regular doctor had diagnosed a serious heart problem which needed surgery and stents to be implanted. However, he did not find the diagnosis satisfactory. Therefore, he advised the lady a detailed checkup. His suspicions were confirmed. The reports revealed that there was nothing wrong with the heart and neither surgery nor stents were needed. The lady only had some muscular pains, which were addressable with medication. The feedback about the doctor who had been treating her was that doctor indulged in exploitation since he was convinced that the patient could be cured with simple medication. He called her to the consulting room. Thinking that the matter was serious, she came with her husband. The husband was none other than the landlord who had filed a case against the doctor. Since the landlord had many litigation cases, he did not recognize the doctor as one of the defendants on one of his cases. However, the doctor realized that the husband was the landlord from his name and address on the business visiting card. The immediate reaction was anger, and urge was to have a showdown with him and let the woman suffer and wait for her doctor and get exploited. The opportunity to take revenge was there right before him. However, he excused himself for a few minutes to talk to himself and his ethics and his duty to his patient. This break helped him. This break helped him and he discussed the medical treatment very professionally with the patient and her husband. He explained that surgery was not necessary nor were the stents implantation needed. He prescribed simple medication, a new diet, and some yoga asanas. He asked her to see him after 2 weeks. The patient and her husband were happy and relieved. The lady came again after 2 weeks and a detailed checkup was carried out. The medical checkup showed phenomenal results. She was declared fit and fine. The lady and her husband came with gifts, and the husband actually said that he was the nicest doctor he had ever met and would recommend him to his friends, little realizing that this was the same person against whom he had filed a case of antisocial behavior, forgery, etc. A couple of months later, the court hearing came up, and this time, amongst the other directors, the landlord spotted this doctor and recognized him. He pleasantly went to meet him and asked him what he was doing there. The doctor then explained that he too was one of the defendants against whom the landlord had filed a false criminal case. The landlord was stunned and couldn't say anything. He went to his lawyer and asked for an adjournment on grounds of ill health. 2 days later, the doctor got a pleasant surprise. The landlord came to his consulting room and apologized to him. He had filed in court an affidavit. He had filed an affidavit in the court admitting his mistake and error in filing the criminal case against the doctor. He requested in the affidavit that the case against the doctor be dismissed. The court dismissed the case. Symbolic reference and the importance of fair play in life. In a situation where an opportunity to take revenge is available, it is not easy to behave in a fair and just manner. To be able to behave fairly with a person who has harmed you is extremely difficult and is easier said than done. That is where the challenge lies. This is where the message of Gita helps. Krishna says, don't be swayed by emotions. Do your duty, and I will take care of you. Gita guides us and helps us in retaining sanity in difficult times. Gita's message to man is do your duty without thinking of the consequences and casting away personal feelings. So far as we professionals are concerned, it means act professionally without emotions and self interest, giving correct advice even if one is losing economically. Thank you so much.